Okay, students, so here I am again, and I am going to give you information about your group project. And I hope this answers some of your questions and it gives you an idea of how you can go ahead and start getting to work. So first of all, I am on this screen here, and I kind of keep moving myself around. And you need to go to the group project module and open up group members. And here I have put you with a group member, and I have assigned you a model of therapy. Now, these models should be familiar to you from last semester. We went over these. We did not go over the cognitive behavioral model, but all of these models have a lot of information in your textbook, and I even put the pages there. The other thing is some of those models in the textbook even give you specific ideas of activities to do. So you really need to read your book. Also, if you look in the index in your mental health book, those models are also in there. So you have good resources. I don't mind helping you with these projects. However, the first thing I'm going to do when you come to me and ask me for help is I'm going to ask you if to tell me about the model itself, because I want to see if you've done any of the investigation work, if you've read the books, if you've looked things up, like what have you done to understand it. And after that, I don't mind helping you. And again, you can sign up through the 215 Open Lab site to come to Open Labs, or you can email me. We can set up a time, whatever. So I am available to talk to you about these projects. But the first thing you need to do is read about the model and read in this textbook that you have specifically because you want to see how it applies to the group process. So that's the first thing. You need to contact your group member and you need to talk about a timeline. So uh, your group project will be being presented on March 6th, which kind of sounds like a far away time, but it's about a month. So you want to start getting to work on it, and you want to make a plan. So I always say make a timeline, with your partner. This is what we're going to do by this date. This is what we're going to do by this date, and so forth and so on. So let me go through some of the specifics of the group project, and I'm going to okay, so here's the directions, and so you're going to work in your group, and you've been given the model. Now the most important thing to remember is that you're going to be following the 7-step format. In your first module, I have a long, lengthy PowerPoint all about the 7-step format, and I did put audio on it, and I need you to listen to that. Also, in your book, it goes on about the 7-step format. That is the format we're going to use for both of the groups that you'll be doing. So you need to make sure that you follow that, okay? You're going to fill out a group worksheet, and I'm going to show you that here in a minute. And beside you and your partner are going to split up the duties that are on the group worksheet. And beside those numbers, and I'll show you that in a minute, you're going to put who's doing what. Because when I grade you, I am going to be grading you as a group, and I'm going to be also grading you as a separate individual. So when you get your grade may be different than your partner's grade because I am grading you on your individual tasks that you did in the group. You'll be presenting together, but I will expect to see the person who's in charge of the introduction doing the introduction, and the person who's in charge of the activity doing the activity, although you both can help out with that. Um, you'll be doing, you'll be doing, you'll be picking out a group, doing it with your peers. Oops, sorry. The rest of the class will be participating in the group. And as a participator, I will be giving you a member evaluation form that you'll be filling out after the group. And it's just your opinion about how the group went. And then there's a written portion that is due a week after you have finished your group. Okay, so now let us go to the worksheet. Oops, sorry. I always say that I'm not that great at technology, so I'm just trying to get this going as best as I can. So the group worksheet is in your folder as well, and I made some changes on it. So if you downloaded it, I apologize. I made the changes today, which is January 31st. So the worksheet needs to be completed by the group member, by the group as a whole, and it needs to be submitted to me by March 2nd through the assignment site. Okay, you'll be presenting on March 6th. Your group is, I got to make sure, your timeline is you will have 30 minutes. Your group must be 30 minutes long minimum, and it can be 35 minutes maximum. But when it hits 35, I'm going to have to cut you off because we're doing all the groups in one day. Okay. So, together, you and your group member will fill out the title of the group, the purpose of the group, the supplies needed, and the goals for the group. I want you to be clear about what your goals are. Okay. Now, in the numbers I have of the steps within the 7-step format, each member of the group will be taking, you will be taking 4 of these steps each. So I broke the introduction up to introduction and icebreaker. So the introduction part will be where you introduce yourself and your partner. You give a little explanation about what you're going to be doing for the group. You give a little timeline about the group. This is the activity we're going to be doing. This is what time we're going to be done, and so forth and so on. And then there's the icebreaker, which we've talked about. It's in your PowerPoint. And all these steps here are specifically laid out in your PowerPoint. So what you need to do with your partner first thing is decide who wants to be in charge of these items. And each of you need to take an equal amount. So that would be 4 of those items. And in the paper that you're going to turn into me, this plan that I have here, you're going to write down under each of the items, like how you plan to do that. Like, what is your plan? Because I want you to have a good solid plan. So you're going to write those things down, and of course, who's going to be doing it. So when I'm grading, and when you see the grading rubric, which I'll bring up in a minute, I'll be grading the individual that's in charge of those items. So you need to be really clear about that. Okay, so oops, here's the grading rubric. Okay, so as you see, I have basically taken that plan and added elements of what I'm looking for you to do, and then added points to it. Okay, so again, the person that is in charge of that item will be the one that's getting the grade, but I do expect the other member of the group to be participating as well. So you may add something to what they say, or you may say a few things about in that area, but it needs to be clear that the person that is in charge of it shows that they are in charge of it. So basically, in a nutshell, that is the group project. So again, the first thing that you need to do is you need to get with your group member. You need to read about your different model that you have, and you need to get a handle on that. And then you need to go through the group worksheet, and you need to start working that together, and you need to figure out what you're going to do. And you are welcome to use any materials in the lab to do this project. So I will be available on Zoom on Monday at 10 a.m. and at 6:30 p.m. and I encourage you to come and ask me questions at that time. I encourage you to come to Open Lab and ask me questions, and you can also email me questions. But make sure that you've already made a good effort to understand your assignment so you can ask questions that are relevant. Okay, so I hope this helps a little bit, and we shall be talking with you soon. Thank you for listening.